What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G, the Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Now, we have just completed a massive run for October. In fact, so massive I didn't have enough room for anything and everything that I wanted, which is why Tabletop Takeout Tuesdays last month was invaded by Big Johnny G's 5 favorite.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Big Johnny G 5 favorite.
Or 6 favorite in some of the cases. But I really like that. I think it was really fitting the way the two series is connected. You know, because this Tabletop Takeout Tuesday is about games that I love and I think that you are going to love also. And that is exactly what a top list is. So it makes sense. So from now on, it's going to be a subcategory of Tabletop Takeout Tuesday.
Hey.
Everything with that worked perfectly. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you see the logic in that as well. But anyway, we are back. We are back, my friends, with a regular, normal Tabletop Takeout Tuesday once again. And I got a game that me and the 20-Sided Warriors have been playing, a new game that has captured our collective imagination. A game, dare I say, makes me feel like I'm 7 years old again and I just discovered Dungeons and Dragons. I know, that's a big statement to say, especially for a board game. But it's true. I found a board game that makes me feel like I'm playing D&D. Now, I know there's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons board games out there, but if you've watched my series on those games, you know how I feel. I don't feel that any of them really capture the feel of the role-playing game. Many of them capture some great Dungeons and Dragons feelings, but not quite the RPG aspect of it. This comes even closer. And I love this game so much. I'm so happy that it made its Kickstarter and that I will eventually be seeing the finished product of this. Now, the review copy that me and the 20-Sided Warriors got is a fantastic review copy. I mean, it's as close to being store-worthy as possible, I actually think. So it's not that big of a jump. Now, what game is this that I've been talking about? What game has your buddy Big Johnny G been building up? Well, this is by the same creator that gave us Duel of the Dragons, and you know how many videos we did on that, because we really love that 1-2 player game. Well, Wes Woodbury, he's brought us another game from FunDaMental Games, and this game rocks. I've just got to tell you all about it. The title of that game, Legends of Novus. It is. It's a fantasy setting game in his own setting, and you're going to be running characters just like D&D. You're going to be going on quests, going on adventures. You can play this game solo, cooperative, or competitive. Has a lot of different ways to play it. I want to talk to you about this game a little bit more detail. So why don't I go see if there's a spot empty on the bench there, and we can go down, and we can talk about this for a few minutes. All right, everyone. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legends of Novus. I'll see you all down at the bench. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending a little of your time here with Two Gun Pixie. So I got my notes for Legends of Novus. Now, just up front, let me just give you the information. This is by FunDaMental Games, and it was made by Wes Woodbury. Now, you may be familiar with these names, at least if you're a regular viewer of Two Gun Pixie, because a number of months ago, we did a really big review, playthrough, first impressions, and the whole showcase for their first game, Duel of the Dragons. Now, that was a huge hit with me and the 20-Sided Warriors. That 1-2 player game was a lot of fun. It was different. We liked that. And now, FunDaMental Games and Wes Woodbury have brought us something else that has a very similar feel, and that's Legends of Novus. Legends of Novus is good for 1 to 5 players, ages 12 and up, and could take you anywhere from 30 minutes to 90 minutes, depending on how many players that you have in the game, and your skill level, your experience with the game, how familiar you are with it. This is a card-based, light RPG that doesn't really feel light. Although it is, it feels much heavier than it actually lets on. Now, I also want to say up front that this, although it's a fantasy board game, card game, it is not what you would expect. It's not a dungeon delve. And good, because there's enough dungeon delves. I'm not saying don't make any more. I'm just saying, for right now, there's enough. So to see something different is a breath of fresh air. Not only is this game different, but there's a level of uniqueness to this game that I generally don't find in other fantasy games. And you can't throw a stick without hitting a fantasy board game. Another thing I like about this game is it doesn't have a set track to follow. You know, it's sandboxy. It's a world system. You're not dungeon delving, you're world exploring. And you don't have to go to any one particular place. You get to pick and choose how you want to do this adventure. You get to decide what location quests you want to go on, and what quest beasts, the big bosses, that you're going to end up fighting. One of the ways you do this is with the interesting characters that they have. Now, although the characters, generally speaking, are what you would expect to find in a fantasy game, the way they're written up and their abilities make these somewhat mundane classes of characters to pick more unique than you would think at first glance. The artwork for these characters is absolutely stunning. The board, the cards, the characters, the art just literally grabs you by the throat. You can't look away from it. It's amazingly beautiful. Now, no matter how beautiful the rules are, no matter how unique a game may feel, it's rules that's what makes it. And these rules are really simple. You could teach anyone to play this game in like 10 minutes. No problem. And if they have a background in fantasy games, you know, cut that down in half easily, because there's so much that's familiar, while at the same time, like I said, being somewhat unique. It is a very nice blend, and the balance works perfectly. Another thing I like about these characters is that they are upgradable. Like any good RPG, you're going to have the chance to increase your character's skills, their abilities, and also get them better weapons and items and equipment than they started with. And this is going to advance your character without the need for levels. But there is a certain point, I believe it was 10 XP, that once you hit that, if you're in a major town, you have the option to become an advanced class. In old D&D terms, it would be a kit or a prestige. Now, the way they are, they're kind of mixed up. There are prestiges that are good for fighters, and there's prestiges that are good for warriors. There are some advanced classes that are good for both, if you started as a fighter or as a wizard. And I really like that, because you don't feel quite as pigeonholed otherwise, to say, oh, well, I'm the wizard, so I can only take the wizard class, the wizard advance. No, you can take one that's also eligible for thieves or fighters. And it really does. It adds that little mix in the class up that just takes it that next step. Because this isn't a dungeon delve, because this is a world exploration game in a fantasy setting, the replayability on this game I have found to be out the freaking window. This is one of the most replayable games that I've played in a long time. It has the ability to be literally different every single time you're playing the game. The only thing that's going to be the same is your ultimate end goal. What you have to do to win the game. the amount of side quests that you have to do, and quest beasts, and quest bosses that you have to defeat. That's it. But how you go about this, the exact adventures that you're going to take, the quests that you're going to answer the calling for, that's going to be different every single time. And I just got to say, this game, I completely, 100% feel that this is one of the best RPG board games that you're going to be able to get a chance to get your hands on. This was a successful Kickstarter. This game is fresh. It's new. You don't got to go hunting down to see who still has a copy of it. So now is your chance to get on board. Also, now's your chance to get on board because there's no expansions yet. Now, I've spoken to Wes. We've texted a few times. He's a really nice guy, and this is something that hasn't come up yet, but I can feel it. I can feel it. And if I'm wrong, Wes, you got to make expansions. I feel like you're going to, but if you're not, you got to. You got to. This game begs for expansions. Expansions with new characters, with new monsters, with new quests. Maybe even a big expansion down the road with a new board, a new land in Novus to explore. Because the main one that you're working off is a single continent. So much room for so much more. And this game is begging for it. And it doesn't need to. With the amount of stuff it has in it, it doesn't need to, and yet it's still asking for it. And my gut feeling is when the first expansion drops, mini or big, it's going to feel like it just fit in perfectly. You know when you get an expansion, it just feels like it could have been, should have been part of the core game? I really have a feeling that that's the way the expansions for this are going to feel. This game has it all. It is a must-play, an absolute must-play. If you're a fantasy fan, if you like fantasy board games, Legends of Novus is your next big game to try. This is it. This has become definitely within my top 5, maybe even my top 3 fantasy board games of all time. And I only have a small number of games under it. We've live streamed 2 games, a solo that I did, and a 2-player game. And I've gotten a chance to play three other solo games since then. And I just don't want to stop. I don't. And that is the mark of a really good game. So like I said, if you're a board gamer who particularly likes fantasy games, Legends of Novus is right up your alley. Trust me, please. Also, trust me when I say thank you. Thank you to everyone that's been going to the Two Gun Pixie Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's so nice that you go over and you see what we're doing over there. We're trying to be more active over there. I've been kicking myself in the butt to make sure there's more drops, more things going on, more reason for you to go see what we're doing. So thank you very much. Of course, also, as I always say, this is so true. Thank you, everyone that's been going over and taking a look at the Two Gun Pixie Zazzle store, our print-on-demand store where we have nerdy and RPG-inspired designs and phrases on hats, shirts, hoodies, tank tops, sandals, mouse pads, stickers, buttons. Go check it out. I made sure I put a lot of images and a lot of phrases on a lot of things. Might be something there that you're going to like. But even if you don't buy anything, thank you for at least for going and take a look at it, for spending your time to check it out. Very cool. So cool. Thank you very much. And of course, as I sign off always, thank you for right here, coming to spend your time with us at Two Gun Pixie. You subscribe to the channel, you watch the videos, you like the videos, you comment, and when we're lucky, you're going to share them. That's great. That is the best way you can say thank you to any content creator. If you watch a video of theirs and you enjoy it, share it. Share it. That's one of the best thank yous you can give us. So thank you, everyone. Indeed. Thank you very much. I'm your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. And my friends, I am out of here.